Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Kenneth Price, and this is, what's the date today? This is Sunday, the 18th of June, and we're on board with Fiona. We're on board with Craig. This is our Sunday morning Zoom call. This is our 83rd Sunday morning Zoom call for the ministry that we're hosting, psychiatricsobriety.com, and this is my 5-minute introduction. Who are we? Who am I? What do we do? Why do we even assemble? Well, I'm what I suppose the New Age community would call a wounded healer. I'm not somebody who comes in with any ministerial credentials. I don't even consider myself a spiritual teacher. But I did emerge from something that people said was impossible to do. I was in psychiatry for 25 years, and I was, handed everyone. This is my 5-minute introduction. Everyone's heard the story. If you've seen my Zoom calls, I was handed mountains and mountains of pills, pharmaceuticals, psychotropics, antidepressants, anti-anxiety. You name it, I was on it to cure a mental illness, which I never had in the first place. It was a whole thing, was a huge misunderstanding. And they said I could never get off those pills. They said I would be on those pills for the rest of my life. Now, what happened? Like a 12-step program, what it was like, what happened, and what's it like now. I did get off all those pills. I haven't been on a pharmaceutical for years and years, and I made huge discoveries. I made these enormous, profound leaps in development, in healing, in wisdom. And so I was prompted. I started sharing this with others who had been given the same disempowering narrative, and they all wanted me to start something. So this is what came out of it: a website that I put together called psychiatricsobriety.com, a weekly Zoom call, and just a great community of others who have also been handed that same disempowering narrative and have the courage to seek for something truer than that narrative. I'm very careful with my language because we're not, we're dealing with some very powerful medications, but I can't not go on the internet and share my own emergence, because the more I share it, the more it grows in me. I'm a Course in Miracles student, and in that path, the more we extend it, the more we share it, the more it solidifies in ourselves. And I'm also a 12-stepper. And basically, the Course in Miracles is nothing more than the 12 steps on steroids. So because of the demographics that normally would want to watch a YouTube archive like this, I have to throw in disclaimers, because we're not here to proselytize. We're not here to preach. We're not here to tell anybody they should exit pharmacology. We're not here to tell anybody they should exit psychiatry. These are decisions which you will have to make on your own. All we're here to do is to share that these are decisions we made. These were the best decisions we made. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of faith. It takes a lot of grace. And that's what we do here: courage, faith, and grace. I'm not any sort of a religious person. I've shared with you already, I'm a Course in Miracles student. So that's generally where these calls go. We don't, try and heal ourselves. We go in the direction of unbelieving the mental illness itself. And I don't know what else to say. That's kind of my 5-minute introduction. What I like to do every Zoom call is I get out of the way. I'm not here to pontificate. I'm here to stand back. The dream character Kenneth is here to stand back and let spirit take the call in the direction that it's guided to go. So because that's our direction, because that's our intention, I start off each of these Zoom calls with the healer's prayer, which goes like this: we are here only to be truly helpful, and we are here to represent him or her who sent us. We do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because he or she who sent us will direct us. We are content to be wherever he or she wishes, knowing that he or she goes there with us, and we will be healed as we let him or her teach us how to heal. All right, let's start it off on a Sunday morning. We got Greg, he's a regular, and we got Fiona, she's brand new. Fiona, would you feel comfortable sharing with us how you found us? I don't remember if you've been on the Zoom call before. What's going on? Just basically anything. We just go in any direction that this call needs to go. I just want to be supportive as possible. and share with others to offer experience, strength, and hope, basically.
Hi, I have been listening to a lady on YouTube, Calico.
Yeah, Calico, isn't she great? She's one of my teachers, by the way. One of my mining companions.
I've been listening to her on YouTube, and I'm interested in the Course of Miracles. So that's how. And then this was put up that she was going to be on with you this morning. Is that correct?
Oh no, not this morning. She's going to be on here next week.
Oh, well, I got mixed up, but then I thought.
All right, I'd love to
this
have
morning.
you here.
That's how I'm here.
Do not apologize. I'm glad you're here, because let's talk about what's going to happen next week. Greg, I'll kind of let you on board. One of my spiritual teachers, I met her when I first discovered the Living Miracles community in May of 2017. She is somebody who finally got through to me in a way that none of the others probably. Everyone got through to me, this man, in one way or the other, but her contribution is especially worth noting. And I don't think she would have a problem with me sharing this, because she's transparent. She was in hospice, and to make a long story short, she checked herself out and said, "I'm going to unbelieve in cancer rather than wait to die." Now that's inspirational.
Oh,
now,
okay.
That right there means I want to hear what she has to say. And she's an absolute light. She's tough. Well, she's been tough with me, and that I can also respect. Okay, it's not always been easy, but I've said this many times on this call before. This is not going to be a rainbows and unicorn path for all of us. Sometimes we're going to hear some things which are going to be difficult to digest. Two other reasons why I trusted Calico is she's gay. I don't think she'd have a problem with me disclosing that. And she was a 12-stepper for a very long time. Now, this was the perfect ingredient for me to say, all right, I'm all ears. What have you got to share? And where can we go with this?
Is she the one who wrote the book, Dying to Be Me?
No, you're thinking of Anita Morazani. Okay. So anyway, that's basically why I'm excited. I went on her Zoom call last week. No, it's not. It was this week. I went on her Zoom call, and at the very end, she said, "Oh, if you guys have any groups which you would like me to attend."
I heard that. I was listening to her.
Oh, you were on that. Okay, so you also watched the dialogue after she ended the recording. How she was tough. She said, yeah. I said to her,
"Oh, that was you. That was you. Was she talking to you?" Yeah. Yes, I did see that, but yeah.
I almost, part of me says, ouch. There was an ouch there. Ooh, I don't want to say that was a correction. It may have been. In the Course in Miracles, we do not correct a brother. Well, let's start where we're at. Perhaps perhaps that was something that was necessary for me to hear. It's not always easy to hear someone say, "Stop it." But in a nutshell, that was it. It was a stop it.
We all do it.
I know we do. And so maybe Fiona, you can share. Maybe I've talked enough. Be careful. I get winded. Can you share with us what your perception is of the Course in Miracles? What you're feeling, just where you're at, basically.
I don't know how to say it, really. I'm actually reading a book, and it's called A Message of Course in Miracles. Have you heard it? It's kind of simpler.
One more time. Repeat that one. Hear me? Well, I can hear you. Your accent. I'm trying to decipher your accent.
Sorry, I'm from Ireland.
Yeah. Oh, Ireland. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I can understand, now that I know where you're from. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've kind of been through different paths, but I've done like Reiki and different spiritual things, and I'm on this path now, Course in Miracles. I've read different books and things, so I'm just trying to, at the minute, believe that everything really isn't real. It's
Slow
hard to
down.
believe.
That's a very advanced teaching. I always tell people to slow down. Oh, it's not real. Wait a minute. That's like, you know, postdoctoral work. And most of us are still starting off, you know, at the high school level. We'll get there.
Yeah, you know,
these-
I mean,
these
sometimes it's hard to get in, isn't it, into your head that actually this isn't real. Not to defend yourself and take things personally.
You're asking me. I've done my best to be completely transparent with this community over the last, you know, almost 2 years that we've been going. And I do my best to share with others when I lose my temper, when I fall back into my dream character, when I get completely lost, which is every day, by the way. And
Yeah,
I've used a little bit different language with this community because of my history with all those medications. And was I call it mental illness. But if you saw what Calico wrote down when she started, you know, advertising that banner, she said she doesn't believe in either physical illness or mental illness. The two are just two.
yeah, it's actually hard sometimes to believe that because you feel it. You know, I feel pain or physically or mentally. You think you do.
Yeah.
Actually, she's telling us it's all a dream. It's not
I
true.
I don't think she tells us that. I know Calico well enough. She won't just come out and say it's all a dream. If she does, she's going to back it up with tools, resources, examples, and her testimony. And she will walk with us out of the dark forest of illness. You know, once we, hi Jody. That's what I know, you know, to be true. You know, once we become aware that it's all a dream, our purpose in life becomes, the whole purpose in life then becomes to unbelieve the dream. And in unbelieving it, we're going to teach what we need to learn. We're all basically wounded healers here. I don't, that's not a Course in Miracles word, but it's very applicable for the work that we do. And also I mean, not like we're really wounded, but you know, language is very limiting.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you guys. Do you want to hear me talk or?
Yeah.
Hi, Jody. Jody, meet Fiona.
Oh,
Jody,
sorry, I haven't got my photograph up. I
What's
haven't
that?
figured it out yet. I don't know why it won't come up.
that's fine. We can do with the black screen and the white avatar. It's all perfect. Jody, have you heard that we've got a guest speaker coming on next Sunday? Yeah. How are you doing today? What's
I'm feeling very wounded.
okay? All right.
All wounds are coming up. Like it's coming up in waves. I mean,
Okay.
it's really yeah. I'm feeling very wounded. Like all of my stuff is making a comeback. It's really
Feeling.
painful. A lot of
Jody,
feeling.
yeah.
A lot of painful feelings.
Okay, good that you can come here and that we have this and that we can all not like this is the part that I'm honing in. You know, they kept saying don't give anyone false empathy. Well, false. But real empathy says I'm going through it too. You know, we're here to hold all space and let you express whatever needs to, or just and I'm not here to say, oh, I love you. And that would sound so, when I'm in a bad place, people say, oh, we love you. It doesn't help. Actually, sometimes it makes things worse. My role is to be here. That's what love is. I'm just to be here with you now, you know. I've had some pretty, you know, we're feeling it. Remember, Jody, for us, it's to feel it. We got to feel it. And it's the hardest.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the troubles I've had with Course, you know, communities is they said, well, what are you feeling? Sometimes I still don't know.
Really?
I can't, they want me to put a name on it, a label, so we can, I don't know what I'm feeling sometimes. And I have to trust that.
Mhm.
I know sometimes it hurts very, very deeply. And the closest I've come up with is perhaps confusion, bewilderment. Do anger really well.
Rage is coming up again, like benzo rage. I remember this rage when I was in benzo withdrawal. Like, wow. Yeah, rage.
Yeah.
Shocking.
And if I were I say wounded healer. I'm not an unhealed healer, but I will use the word wounded healer. I've graduated from unhealed healer to wounded healer. And I've had a lot of unhealed healers in my path say, oh, this too shall pass. And when a person's in rage, it actually throws more fuel on the fire. What I will share with you, Jody, is I know. Yeah. And what I can offer is that at this moment right now, I'm above the clouds, above the battleground. So together we'll join, and I'll share with you. I know what it's like, and mine always. We always know it passes. It doesn't feel like it's going to pass. And that's where the courage comes in. Feels like it's just going to keep going on. Mine never does go on. Mine always passes. And as each one passes, I get a little bit more familiar with what do I say? With the patterns. Clouds come, clouds depart, clouds come. So I start to notice, like I've said on the Zoom call before, that song by Simon and Garfunkel, "Hello Darkness, My Old Friend."
I am sorry.
Josh?
That was not a
Hey,
comment. That was not a.
Hello?
Hey,
Josh? Josh,
Yeah,
you're
hello.
mute.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, buddy, you're the one that sent me those 2 messages, and you're in Vietnam, aren't you?
Yep, I'm in Hanoi, Vietnam. Yep.
Hey, well,
I'm all the way
thanks
over
for coming
here.
on this call. We got Greg, we got Jody, we got Fiona, and now you're on. Everyone, I don't remember how Josh and I met, but he left 2 voice messages. I left him one. And bright guy on board with the psychiatric sobriety narrative. And buddy, if you want to introduce yourself, share with us. We got a different mixture of people today. We're always just bringing new people on board and expanding whatever you got to
Oh, cool.
contribute.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my name is Joshua H. Banks. I'm originally from California. I've been living in Asia for over 20 years, almost 20 years now. I'm now living in Hanoi, Vietnam. I lived in China. I lived in Thailand. I lived in Laos. Lived all over basically. So yeah. Originally I came out here to teach English. Now I'm working more in music, promoting underground music here.
Oh,
I
cool.
work on books as well, and I'm doing a little bit teaching on the side. So yeah, surviving from some money I got from the States as well. So it helps me get by out here. It's pretty damn cheap to live out here, and it's good, man. I've been here, I've been moving around.
Mhm.
It's been good, man. It's nice.
Mhm.
I came out here originally in 2004 just to teach English. I didn't know anything, man. I knew absolutely nothing about Asia. I heard a little bit about it, but and then I moved to Thailand in 2009, and I lived there for a while. So a friend of mine I met in Mexico, we worked on a book series called You're Crazy Volume 2, or I'm in the book with him, and then I'm working on a series, Volume 3. So my friend was in psychiatric medicine in Massachusetts, and he caught somebody abusing patients, and he basically got kicked out of the whole. He was doing peer support stuff, and they basically ousted him because he tried to out somebody caught abusing a patient, and he's going through his whole thing right now. He had to bail to Mexico. He's been living there for a while. He's got a lawsuit against him and all this stuff, but yeah. He's doing really well. I mean, he's doing all right. He's doing good now, but he was going through a lot of traumatic, from what happened, basically trying to because he had abuse as a child, I guess, as a, his parents were like putting him on psychiatric drugs, and shit. I was on psychiatric drugs for a little bit when I was a kid, ADHD, but I quit taking that. You know, I've gone through my time with that, but you know, basically I've quit doing that. So yeah,
Mm.
but I've been out here a long time, man. Like it's been a wild ride. I've been out here for, yeah, like I said, almost 20 years. So
I heard about the
Yeah.
punk movement in Singapore. That's
it's
interesting.
it's good to not be in America at the moment, you know.
Okay.
I'm from California originally, so you know, my state is just I can't even afford to live there anymore, man. So yeah.
Yeah.
Josh, you brought up several topics when you left those two messages, and I
Yeah.
went. I sent you a message saying, you know, I'm going to need to go back and review what you said. I think one of the things
Okay.
you said is, if I can now, remember this is being recorded for YouTube, so I just don't want to disclose that. You missed the 5-minute introduction where I do all the disclaimers and explanations. But
Okay.
you had mentioned once that they had given you a medication for ADHD, and you I think you said in the message, you said no to the medication.
Oh,
And-
I said no to the medication. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I took this is a crazy story. When I was like I kind of fucked up in junior college or whatever, my first year. And I remember I was back at home and they put me on meds, you know, and I remember I didn't get much, like when it came to like psychological counseling or anything, they didn't really do much. I was pretty much experimental, like, you know, they were just giving me these medications that were like very experimental at the time. And I remember reading about the side effects and I was like, holy shit, I couldn't believe the side effects that I was having. Because I started having anxiety attacks and I never had it before. And I started getting them really bad where my hands were shaking and stuff, man. It was really, really bad. You know, I mean, I had issues with focusing and concentration and things like that in school, you know. That had caused a lot of problems for me, you know. So yeah, that I got through school barely, you know, I survived through it, but it was tough for me, you know, being a kid and having ADHD. But I think there's other ways around it, you know. And I think a lot of times kids like myself should have been in a program to help kids with special needs, and I never was. You know, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
But
we
not
could
like
we could do a whole Zoom
So-
call on that, you know, because the public school system isn't geared for the mentally gifted. And I listened to your two messages, buddy. You've got
Wow.
gifts, and you know, but gifts don't mean you're going to sit down and do as you're told. I can't see that. Can you put it closer to the
Oh,
camera?
yeah, man, this is the book that that I'm in, that I'm published in, that I'm working on the next one with my friend. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd
But
love to.
every-
I'd love to spend time to review what you've assembled. I don't know if
Yeah,
you've had time chance to review my website, but the top banner is a quote by Krishnamurti: "To be well adjusted to an insane society is not a sign of mental health." Now, where I go immediately with that is, if we start to try and protest that very same society, we become a part of the problem. That's where this Zoom call is. You know, it's like I posted on a Facebook page
Interesting.
called "Speak Out Against Psychiatry," and all these people that are protesting psychiatry are still part of the problem itself. So this is where the Zoom call normally goes. We have found, myself and Jody's down there, and the rest of us that come on board are high, and Fiona's down there. She's waiting for a teacher to come on board next Sunday. We have found a path that is actually backing us out of psychiatry. It's backing us out of the belief in all mental illness. We've chosen the Course in Miracles, and that's generally where these Zoom calls go. You know, we come on and we express, and Jody did quite a bit of that this morning. I want to, you know, have an opportunity to do more of it with her. And then we share how we are not, you see, this is where it gets really difficult, because it's a non-dual path. But it's not a religious path. It's
Okay, good.
the metaphysical path. And it's,
Okay, yeah.
and that's why I'm glad Fiona came on earlier. She said this is very difficult to unbelieve that this is not real. And I said, oh yeah, it is very difficult. It's a great, huge responsibility, And that's basically what this is. It's about full responsibility, and we share how we're all doing it together.
Well, can I interrupt you for a second about something?
Yeah, please
Because
give me some
Oh,
input.
no.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say something that I've learned myself, and this is what I've realized is that the problem with education and stuff is that we don't teach kids on what they actually can do in society. Because I've learned how to be a promoter. Now I'm not making very much money at it. I'm learning by doing, but my God, I never thought in a million years. I did this in LA for a while. I'm doing it now. I don't know if it's going to be a business model, but the thing is that the problem is that we're never taught how to really follow our dreams. We're taught we're taught our dreams are crushed as children because we have all these ambitions. I want to be a musician. I want to be an artist. Oh, no. That's not the path. The path is this way. And the problem is that psychologically, what are we taught to do? We're just taught
Still,
you need to make money.
And
You know,
if we want to focus on the problem, we're gonna fall back into the mental illness that we're trying to heal for ourselves and others. And
Exactly.
that's why this is actually like a razor's edge path. I'm here in Pennsylvania, and I'm staying with an actual Christian pastor. I'm not a Christian, but he's got some pretty good stuff to say. And he calls it something. He doesn't call it. He calls it like a narrow gauge or something like that. This is where if we start to protest that something's wrong and we're going to fix it, then we're actually spinning around inside of the problem as a whole, and it just bounces us back from problem, reaction, solution. Truly,
exactly.
It's something we've all done, and it's something we all still do. We see something in the world and say, that's not right, I should fix it. That's the way our programming, and we, it means we believe that's really happened. And in the Course in Miracles, they say, hold on, you're gonna go back way, you're really gonna back up, and we're gonna go to the root of all this, because what the Course in Miracles has enabled me to do, and I can't do it all the time, but I've seen it actually work, is if I can get back far enough and unbelieve that this is happening, then when I'm called to move forward, it will be from a place of agape love rather than a place of resistance, which can, just perpetuates the Course cycle. So I think this is great, Josh. I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up, the kind of intention that we set for the calls.
No. I'm interested because what I'm saying more or less is that what I think more is it communication, because what I've learned and what I've realized out here is that out here we don't have very much therapy. So people that are having problems mentally have to deal with each other in a way, whereas we have to focus in and help each other through these issues, whereas like back home, everyone goes, oh, I don't want to hear your problems. You go go over here and go deal with a therapist. What's your therapist going to do? They're going to keep you controlled. So what? They're either going to keep you on medication or they're going to keep you controlled mentally. Why? They want to have that power over you. Why they want the power? Because for them, it's about money. And that's what I think is a big problem. And and that's a big problem too with therapy, is that, and the dealing with, well, what are my issues inside? We all have problems and we have to address them. We all have differences. How can we use those differences? How can we use that difference in a way that's to better yourself, because we're all not the same, and we're all not similar in the way that we think. And that's the problem, I think, and that we have this whole like one way that we want things to be done. And in schools in America, especially, where's your, because the thing is that you've used creative activities that stimulates kids' minds. If you sit them and just, look at, I lived in China for ages, right? And they told us, okay, you're teaching English, you got to make the classes more interesting. Why? Because we're the foreign teacher. But wait a minute, if I go back to America, what are they going to do? They're going to sit me in a classroom and go, okay, this is the road to right, and this is the way we want you to teach. And I go, but you know what I mean? Like that's not what that's not how I would want to teach, you know, and you have all these curriculum standards. So it's completely, it's taking that whole methodology, because you're more open out here to do what you want,
So
which,
can I
yeah,
ask, Josh, how does it
Yeah.
make you feel? You know, one of the things my teacher always asks is the strongest question I can ask to bring me back into this present moment is, how am I feeling right now?
yeah, for sure. Um,
And I
Well,
ask this with humility, because trust me, I have gone on many diatribes at public education, which didn't serve me in my youth either. But my teacher will always bring me back to the fundamental question: how am I feeling right now? The solutions are always going to be here, today, now.
sure.
You know, that's
Um,
what the Course in Miracles is pointing us towards. The Course in Miracles is taking us off of this linear past and future timeline, which by the way is just going to loop. It's I mean, it may look linear like a line, but if you follow out long enough, it's a gigantic circle. It just goes around and around. And the Course
Sure.
in Miracles has successfully, in my story, I've been able to lift above that merry-go-round and see it.
Okay.
Course in Miracles language, I've been able to see it. They call it from above the battleground. But before I was a Course in Miracles student, I said it was, I used to use the word forest for the trees, which was the term my father used. And that's how I am successfully emerging from all those pills. You missed my introduction, but I was 25 years
Wow.
on just, the psychiatrist had me on a chemical soup. They said I would never get off those pills. They said, and the more pills they gave me, the sicker I got. So I'm full on board with, quote unquote, the problem. And we've got another member on board, and I'd like to give some more time to her. Jody and I found each other because we were both once upon a time in that spider web trap of pharmacology and psychiatry. Now, let me share with you
Wow.
what happened before you came on, Josh. Jody is
Yeah.
going through difficult feelings today, because once all, and it's not just the psychotropics, we've chosen to surrender all my mood altering substances, and that's why I call it,
Yeah.
psychiatric sobriety. And this is where rubber hits the road for us, because feelings, this is why I'm not I'm not like Calico, who's got, all these participants. We only got a few, because I'm still at the kindergarten level when it comes to feelings, but that's fine with me. I'm starting to feel
Sure.
after,
Sure.
at age 56, I'm
But-
beginning to defrost my own feelings.
Wow, okay.
And those are going to tell me, those feelings are going to tell me, those feelings are my GPS.
But-
Otherwise I just stay in my
It-
mind and it stays into a
But,
scope.
I'll tell you what, when you self-medicate, like I used a lot of alcohol, and I still drink, but I keep it moderately, but like I used to drink a lot, and I used to drink a lot more than a lot of times to get away from my problems, I started drinking a lot more, and I drink a lot more. And I realized, like, well, wait, I'm taking one substance, right? And I'm using another substance to take over for that. And it's like, once your mind starts clearing in that way, it's almost like, wow, you start seeing things, it's like it's like any sort of, because a lot of times when we're self-medicating. I mean, alcohol is the worst self-medication of all, but
Mhm.
anything, weed, anything like that is bad, in little forms, it's okay. But when it takes over, I've realized any substance that takes over your life, and yeah, it's hard, because we deal with like issues of like anxiety, or we deal with issues of mental control and things like that. And I think that meditation and yoga and things like that, in that stance and in that kind of finding yourself, is more a direction that we can find, because I look at the way that the Asians deal with things, and it's completely different than the way we look at things. They have of course they have the things with, they don't focus so much on depression and things like that as we do in America. I mean, America is just a psychiatric ward, let's just be honest. Everybody's taught now more and more, oh, you got to take these pills. And I always fought against that. My stepmom was a therapist, and she was always talking about these pills, and I was just like,
Hey,
this
Josh,
is what,
how about I'm gonna if it's all right, I'm gonna slow down here,
Yeah.
and I want
Yeah,
to see if we can
yeah.
get Fiona and Jody and Greg a time to participate. Um,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So where's everyone else at this morning? Jody, you were sharing earlier, and if we don't share during this call, Jody, I'd like to talk with you afterwards to see what, how I can make some space for you. Anybody else want to jump in? What's going on today? What's going on today? What's going on right now? Don't do this to me, guys. Don't give me silence.
I'm waiting for Jody to go. But if she doesn't want to go, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm here with you, but I'm here with you, Jody.
I'm drowning in emotions.
Okay.
I'm like curled up in a ball, just
Okay.
like sobbing uncontrollably. It's just like I'm purging.
Okay.
It's like a purge. Yeah, that's how I'm doing. I'm
Okay.
just trying to stay present. I'm trying to practice all of my skills.
Good. Jody, I'm glad I was worried that I might have to wait until after the call, to connect with you. And I'm glad we're connecting now. This is because I know this. All of mine passed. And like I've shared with you over the course of our friendship over the last year and a half, at the end of every single one of mine, there was a pearl, a holy grail, a nugget. And this is the part where I'm not, one of these Course in Miracles spiritual people. A lot of them just kind of like give me, Course in Miracles quotes, and kind of, just kind of smile. It's all an illusion. I'm never going to gaslight someone who shares with me as intimately and as transparently, and as honestly as you're doing right now.
Mhm.
And I get the privilege. Jody, actually, you're helping. Remember how this whole thing works. You're helping me this morning. This is my purpose is to extend, and extending isn't teaching. Extending is just being here and knowing what's. I know you, Jody. You have privileged me with the opportunity to share agape love. I mean, you and I have had these. We've never even met, face to face. It's all been on this Zoom computer. See, and I start to get a smile from you. It's love, Jody. That's the, I love these conversations we have, but let's bring it back to basics. This is love. I get to play the role of your big brother almost. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Where, can I ask a question? Where are you guys all located in the States?
All over.
I'm in
All
Canada.
over, okay. Okay.
I'm in
Yeah.
Alabama.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Fiona's Irish. She must be, across the Atlantic in Ireland. And
Oh, wow, okay. Interesting.
I honestly, folks, I thought it was over for me. I said it makes now I've not had physical. All of mine has been mental, but I honestly was so far down and so trapped in mental illness, depression, anxiety, and with that, all of a sudden all the different labels, borderline personality, probably schizophrenia.
Oh.
It was all. I was so far down. I said, I can't see my way out. Truly, the reason I'm a Course in Miracles student is it wasn't some blinding, burning bush. Would have been nice, but mine was just take this next step.
Mhm.
Take this next step. Meet this next person. Here's the next book.
Mhm.
Here's the next lecture.
Sure. Exactly.
And slowly I began to see, oh my God, this innocent, playful child that I had suppressed at a very young age for reasons which would be a part of my parable, began to come to life once again. And Jody, this is what I'm always sharing with you is your beautiful little girl. That's what I see in you.
Yeah.
Our adults got adulted for some reason, and
Exactly.
we're ready to go home now. All of us were ready to go home. I'm living with a Christian pastor, and we were talking about the prodigal son last night, of all parables. No accident. We've all gone down the road of not that the prodigal son squandered all of his money. Jesus wasn't. That was just it had nothing to do with money. He went out into the world to see if the world worked, and he found out the world didn't work.
Mhm.
And let's just carte blanche this. The world simply doesn't work. All of us have now come to that same conclusion. And this whole Zoom call, this whole ministry is we're walking home together. And boy, oh boy, you know,
Yeah.
there's all these tethers that are pulling at us, and they create mayhem, because going home is for the courageous. Staying asleep is cowardly. This is about waking up.
But you're exactly saying the right, and I'll just, I mean, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'll just tell you, the thing is that living in Asia for as long as I have, the things that I've seen and the humanity that I see on a daily basis of just people's survival, and just like watching people just walking down the road with a smile on their face, fucking selling, you know, fruit, and you know that they're struggling every day. And it's like their struggle is more than my struggle is, you know? And I think that we forget that, but they have this level of being, like, just of existence in a way that it's like, it just, it really takes away all those things that you think about yourself. You're like, well, fuck, am I eating? Yeah. Do I have food in my mouth? Yeah. Do I have a fucking roof over my head? Yeah. Okay. Do I have a job? Maybe I hate my job. Okay. A lot of us do, unfortunately, right? But I'm saying that so many of us, we put all these pressures on side of ourselves, you know? And I think that we get in this mindset like this. And being out here is probably like, it's fucking not easy, man, because you're on your own and you have to survive on your own. Nobody is out there to help you. You know, your
Josh,
family is fucking,
can I kind of
Yeah, yeah.
compartmentalize what nugget I
Yeah,
pulled out of that?
Yeah.
What I heard you saying is that they're internals. I don't know exact words. The internals of those, what we would consider, you know, poor people. They're really not
sure.
poor, because poverty can only be on the inside. They don't have poverty mentality. They must be
Exactly.
connected at some level. Fiona, I want to do a round robin here. Fiona, do you feel comfortable sharing and participating? I know you said it was a mistake that you came on. You wanted to hear Calico, but you got us. If you want to share, you got me.
Yeah.
Calico may be a heavy hitter. Well, I'm never mind what I am.
Pardon?
Never. I keep it kind of light. You know, you came on board, you know, hoping Calico would be, you know, this afternoon, but you got us. How's this sitting for you? Anything you want to contribute to this?
I'm just listening, really. I think all the stuff in the past, it's not there anymore. It's not there. You know, it's hard to believe, but it's not real. We all have to come back to the right mind, and a lot of us we're still in the wrong mind, and we won't be happy until
True.
we are in the right mind with the Holy Spirit helping us to be one with God.
I'm glad you said that, Fiona. You got to bring us. You bring us back to basics. It really is either the right mind or the wrong mind.
I hear y'all, and there sounds like there's a lot of truth in the Course in Miracles, but the complication is, how do you live in the world and not be of the world? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
Oh,
do the
no,
simple things.
I've never asked myself that question, Greg.
You
Oh God.
know, I mean, there's so much truth in that. I mean, I think
All right.
the remedy is that you just you do the little things.
The
Let
remedy is
everything
like,
else take care of itself. You just
Exactly.
you drive the car, you put the key in the ignition, you walk to work. You know, you do the basics, and that is it. And that's so hard. That's so hard for me. I want to fix things. I want to control things. I want to make things happen. You know.
have you
So,
read
Well,
the
that's,
disappearance?
you know,
have
Greg,
I read on it?
the disappearance of the universe yet?
No,
yeah,
not
I
yet.
want to read that. I want to read that again, but I think
Okay.
I read it at the beginning and I wasn't really understanding it properly. but I'd
Just
like to
put-
read it again.
Because Gary covers that when he got the visitation from Arden in person. He covers that like you know, a true master, where I'm not a master, I'm a novice. You know, I just, since you know, this is kind of like a treatment center, I just throw the resources that are helpful. I guess the only way I could, and Greg, trust me, you know, I'm only saying this because I need to hear it myself, but the only way to be in the world and not of it is am I in the world and not of it in this moment? I'm with you, buddy. You know, I could go on forever and ask those questions, but it's only my ego that's going to ask those questions, remember? So which mind is asking the
Very-
question?
I think if
That's
you're not happy
very true.
within, if you're not happy within, you are taking everything personally. If someone attacks you, and you
Yeah.
take up, like, you're not in the right mind. If we
And-
let it go through, look at that person and realize the love that you
Yeah.
have for that person that you previously maybe didn't like, which has happened
Sure.
to me. But I just show them love,
Mm,
and the goodness comes back to me, and don't defend. It doesn't go on, and everything seems better.
yeah.
And
Right
what
now,
Carla
though,
was-
I'm so interested in my story. You know, I'm very
Yeah.
interested in it
We have to
because,
stop talking about our story.
well, I
You
mean,
know,
well, I'm at a
Oh,
point
me,
where
I
I'm
do
I'm
that.
almost done with withdrawals. And I've been in withdrawals for 2.5 years, and I'm getting to the point to where I can
Wow.
function. I wasn't able to function at all for a long, long time. You know, for 2.5 years. And it's not that they're over, but I'm at the point to where I can participate in life again. And I get to you know, it's been extremely spiritual. It was close to a Kundalini awakening, what I went through. You know, and you know, there was definitely the physical side of withdrawals, but the spiritual side was almost overwhelming. It was almost as crippling as the physical side. So
Wow.
now I'm coming to a point to where I get to ground all this. You know, everything's
What-
not completely in the profound. Everything's not completely. Hold on. Everything's not, you know, completely just mind-blowingly spiritual. So now I'm
What-
getting to the point to where I can actually, you know, use a lot of this. I'm going to school for the Bach remedies now. And that'll probably take 2 years, and then I'm going to learn how to administer it online. So,
Was it,
you know, I'm coming to a point to where, you know, yeah, I'm very interested in my story, and I found out all the reasons for the trauma, and I'm finally like letting it go. So
Exactly.
it's a little bit of it's a trick now. It's a trick.
Yeah.
It's a trick to you know, be spiritual, to come into this path and still, you know, be in spirit while there's so much to do. So it right now to be spiritual, it's a little bit of a difficulty, I guess you could say.
but
I gotta
can I,
go
can I
ahead.
ask a question?
Real quick.
I-
We gotta
I'm just
put
wondering
seven minutes.
about withdrawal. I mean, when you're talking about withdrawal, are you withdrawing from like substance abuse or
Benzodiazepines. You know?
from from opioids or
No, benzos. It's a narcotic though. I've been on
okay,
someone for
okay.
2.5 years.
Josh, this whole
Interesting.
ministry started when I came off of a very powerful medication. It's called a benzodiazepine, and they're one of the
Oh,
hardest
wow.
medications to come off. You know, it makes coming off opioids seem like a piece of cake, and they're under the category of like Valium and Xanax, and mine was Klonopin, and
Oh shit.
so it's a very frightening, you know, journey to come, and it's very difficult to come off of these. So I just kind of give you a heads up. That's how all of now I generally don't focus on coming off medications, because, you know, as this ministry evolved, I just put on the blanket of mental illness itself. But, you know, still a lot of the
Sure.
people that come in here are choosing to exit pharmacology altogether.
Interesting.
Jody, you're
Yeah.
back. Jody, let's give the last 5 minutes to you. I really want to spend time with you, and if we don't have the you know, if you still need more support after, you know, the recording ends, I want to call you on FaceTime because I can share with you. And I'm not, and Jody and I know each other well enough. You know, this is not about, you know, well it's your turn. I'll stop talking.
Uh-huh.
If you don't want to talk, Jody, we'll just share with you how much we've appreciated all of your,
Yeah.
just any way we can love you right now through this.
And I'm here for you too, Jody, when we get done with this, but you call me when you need me. I don't want to, you know, interrupt what you're doing.
Can I,
think-
can I,
About the story, as long as we don't get sucked into it, because that's part of like, the disappearance of the universe flipped my world rightly upside down. It was already upside down and now it's right side up, but that's a real hard thing for the mind to grasp and conceptualize.
Mhm.
Jody, if your world had not been flipped right side up, right now, this is what happens when our world gets flipped right side up. People think, oh, I'm just going to wake up out of the dream, but there is a huge detox. We detox the ego, and that's where I want to join with you, and that's what I want archived. That the ego detox is why my spiritual community, Living Miracles, has expression sessions, especially for letting people, you know, purge. It's a very sacred rite of passage. I've encouraged you. I just want to walk with you through this.
And I think
What is
that's important to say here and to archive. And I agree with the whole, you know, I'm challenged with the story idea, right? I know that we like getting sucked into the story is not powerful, but we're here to unravel the story. So I think it's important to talk about it.
It is for, you know, because we set the intention, we're going to unbelieve it, and then we're going to unpack it.
Yeah.
And if anybody thinks it's not going to be a messy process, then they're not going to want anything to do with me. If anybody thinks that this can be done linear or compartmentalized or nice and tidy, then again, they're going to call me a crazy, you know, John the Baptist, eat locusts out in the desert. I know how messy it is. And remember, we used the analogy of childbirth before. You know, excuse my language, you know, the nice pious, you know, do-gooders walk into the hospital room with their Sunday best, and this woman's giving labor, and they say, well, just don't get our dresses dirty. No, it's not like that.
exactly.
You're going to be
Exactly.
full of, no, there's going to be shit and piss going everywhere when the ego starts to realize its days are numbered.
Can I interject and tell you the guys something? Because the thing is, one thing I've realized is that if you look at a lot of old ancient ways, for example, where the Indians do, they used to go sweat when they would deal with, you know, mental problems. That's how they dealt with it. And like I said, I see a lot of the Eastern ways are so different because the way that they face things, you know, and is in a more of a direct way that we have completely lost. And I think that's a big issue in the American psychiatric problems. And for me, I hear about opioids, I hear about drug abuse. I've been over here for 20 years. If you can imagine that. I left America in 2004 on my own quest to go to Asia to teach English. I learned so much about myself, you know, and I'm still learning stuff about myself, but mentally, you know, I took medication for a little bit in this period of time, and I was so in such a place. I don't know if that helped. I don't know if opening, but something opened in my mind that like I've just changed in so many ways, and I know who I am now. You know, a lot of it also is I got to do a big thing of drinking. I said, and you know, I use a lot of that to kind of like get over these situations that I dealt with growing up. You know, and you know, as when we're kids, we're given all this innocence, and then like, oh, now you're an adult. All your shit is like gone. You know, my situation is I live in the world of alternative music and stuff. So a lot of the people that I've dealt with are like ex drug addicts. Let's be honest, like heroin addicts. But what's the difference between a fucking pill that I pop and that pill, it's still a substance that's taken away.
I
you
want
know?
to take that one, that what you said was sweat lodge and how other cultures move
Yeah.
through it. And let's put that on the back burner for the next Zoom call because we're coming up on the
Yeah.
hour. And what I'm going to do, Josh, is
Okay,
I'm gonna leave the Zoom room open, but I'm just ending the recording because I kind of pop in and out on the Zoom call if you guys want to keep the Zoom room open. But this is our hour for the
No.
record for Sunday. You can stay on board with Jody, Fiona, and Greg. I've just got some other things I got this afternoon.
Me too.
This is
I'll-
Kenneth.
I'll-
So this is Kenneth Price on Sunday, June 18th. This is the
I'll send
83rd.
you,
Yeah, so this is Kenneth. Josh, let me just wrap up the recording. This is Kenneth Price
hello?
on Sunday, June 18th for the 83rd Zoom support call for the ministry that we're hosting, psychiatricsobriety.com. And please, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave your comments below. But even more important than leaving your comments, please come on board on Sunday morning next week. On Sunday, June 25th, we're going to have Calico Hickey. She's going to really pack a punch on how we unbelieve all of our illnesses. Hers was physical, but physical or mental, they're all into the same category. All right, that's it for the Zoom archive. God bless, and may the force be with you.